we got, Murray?
Right, there were 2 armed robberies last night and 3 burglaries. The best one was in Herne Bay. They got away with a telly, a stereo, and a cocker spaniel.
Robin and Neil, see if these are the same guys that are working the Parnell area, okay?
There was a knife fight down at the King's Head pub. Several cars were reported stolen, and Ollie Carruthers was caught flashing again.
Oh, no.
Poor old Ollie.
Anything else?
Rainbow Warrior arrives tomorrow.
The Greenpeace, Bo?
Yeah, coming down to protest nuclear testing in the Pacific.
I thought they were just into saving whales and...
Oh, no, so they're political activists. It's more like they're into saving the world.
Bloody troublemakers, if you ask me. Always stirring things up.
Oh, well. Keep an eye on them, Batch.
Rainbow Warrior will arrive in New Zealand on July the 7th. It's scheduled to leave on the week of the 12th, so that's your time frame.
What about the crew and local Greenpeace people?
They're a ragtag bunch. Some left-wing radicals. A couple of professional adventurers. A lost soul or two.
Are they a problem?
No.
And the New Zealand police?
Basically, traffic officers. It's a small force, just recently computerized. They don't even carry weapons.
Do we have someone on the scene now?
Some of our people and material are already in place. More will be arriving in the next 24 hours. You must stop Greenpeace.
Good morning. G'day. I'm Heck Crane. I'm the park ranger here. Look, this isn't an official port of entry. There's no customs here.
I'm sorry, we were anxious to get into the calm water.
Yeah, well, coming in like that over the sandbar, you're damn lucky.
It was a bumpy ride.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to inspect your boat.
Of course. I'm Dr. Nicolas Lagrange.
Director of our Auckland office.
Never really actually met, have we?
Welcome. Hey, we've been trying to get the Warrior down here for 5 years. Hey, you should meet the woman who put it all together. Andrea, come over here.
Look at this. What's the matter with you? You just got off the boat. Hormones.
We're our friends. Peter, Andrea Joyce, our best volunteer organizer.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Thank you for the welcome. Very nice.
No, it was easy. You and your crew deserve it.
Take a look.
Welcome, the crew of the Rainbow Warrior. We feel very deeply about the work that you've done with the native people of Rongola. And we are touched deep in our hearts, and will keep that there forever. That all your journeys may be richly blessed, and that you be at peace. No reira tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora mai tātou.
What do those guys want? It's getting to be like a bloody motorway around here.
Hey, be careful, bro. There could be drug dealers for all we know. Is there anything wrong with it?
We are looking for some friends in a camper van. Have you seen them?
Yeah, just a while ago.
How long ago?
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Which way did they go?
They shut off that way there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let's see if I can catch them.
I'd like to introduce Steve Sawyer from Greenpeace International and Peter Wilcox, skipper of the Rainbow Warrior.
What's next for the Warrior?
Well, we're preparing to go to Mororoa.
The French are planning a nuclear test in the next couple of weeks. Our voyage is a protest against that on behalf of all of the peoples of the Pacific.
The French have imposed a 100-mile security cordon around the atoll. What's your reaction to that?
It's against the law.
Our government only has jurisdiction out to the 12-mile limit. Anything beyond that is international waters.
They're threatening to sink any ship that breaches the 12-mile limit.
I don't see the French government speaking in those terms, but if they did, I have a message you can give to the French. There's nothing they can do to stop our protest. If we have to swim to Mororoa, Greenpeace will be there.
Let them know everything is in place.
Que se passe-t-il? Tout marche comme prévu? Hi. Cake?
Thank you.
Don't think I know you.
Antoine Rivarol. I'm a businessman, but very much against this nuclear testing. I hear you want to send boats ashore in Mururoa. I've got friends in Tahiti. They could help.
Thanks, but we rejected that idea.
That's a good idea. Happy birthday, and good luck on your protest voyage.
hours.
Repeat, 2 hours. That's it. We go.
Happy birthday, man. Just water it when it rains.
Huh. Do I know this guy?
Good luck.
We got the Warrior as the mothership. We got 3 Greenpeace boats. We got a local contingent of 6 yachts. Can you live with that?
So the rendezvous is the key, isn't it?
The spacing of the formation will have to wait on a meeting of all the captains. We'll all be having different boat speeds. We'll be leaving at different times.
And what about the fuel?
It's all been taken care of.
Yep, we're in good shape.
How's everything down below for us, Eddie?
No worries.
The boat's not important. Let's go.
Take a look at that. Strange time to scuba dive. Unless you're boat thieves, that is. Write this down. LB8951.
Party man taking a break?
Printed up some photos.
Oh, wow, great. Let me see. What you got? Oh, wow, look at that. Look, they're the ladies.
She looks just like my little girl. Same eyes, everything.
Must miss her.
All the time.
Well, congratulations are great. Just great.
Drinks on the house, mate.
Very tempting, but I'm gonna have to say. See you in the morning.
See ya. Just in time.
Oh my God. Let's go! Abandon ship, everybody out! Out, everybody out! Abandon ship, out! What the hell was that? Abandon ship! Come on, let's go! Come on, boys! Come on, boys! Everybody out! Don't go back! Everybody up! Where are you going? Cameras! My cameras! Get them off! Get them off! Fernando, forget the cameras! Come back! Fernando!
Going down again. Go up, go up.
The lights went out, it was completely dark, and then when the emergency lights came on, we just panicked and we ran, and I came sort of out of the ship and ran quickly over the road. I thought it was water coming down.
We go over there and look.
Morning, Superintendent.
Morning, Badge.
Boss?
Tough going down there. Visibility 0.
Damn it, we've got a friend down there.
Doing the best they can, mate. The missing man's name is Fernando Pereira, crew member, Portuguese.
What about the explosion?
Well, all the witnesses say there were 2 of them. She's an old crate. We're figuring maybe the engine or an oxygen tank.
No way it was the engine, mate. And oxygen tanks don't blow up twice.
Nice if somebody knew what they were doing.
There were 3 Russian sailors hanging around the wharf last night. The harbour authority says 2 freighters, 1 Japanese, the other Norwegian, left this morning. First mate over there reckons there was a stranger by the name of Riverroll showed up at a birthday party on board.
Continental Airlines Flight 16, service to Sydney, with continuing service to Guam, is now boarding at Gate 11. Last boarding call on Flight 23, non-stop service to Tahiti, boarding at Gate 15.
There were 2 bombs, 2 huge bombs. They weren't meant to frighten us, they were meant to kill.
Mr. Wilcox, a word with you, please.
We were sabotaged.
Now, I know you're in shock, but I don't appreciate you speculating to the press, you understand?
I'm not speculating.
New Zealand has never had a terrorist incident. Until we have evidence, any such statement is inappropriate, all right?
hole in the hull wide enough to drive a truck through. Metal's pointing inward, sir. It's definitely a demolition job.
Well, Inspector, looks like you have a murder investigation on your hands.
Take them all into questioning. Check the inflatable doesn't belong to any of your yacht club members.
So, did you get a good look at the man?
Can't say I did. It was too dark.
Moving too fast. Couldn't make him out.
Excuse me, sir. Newman say the camper van was rented to a Swiss couple last week. Hasn't been returned yet.
Good work, fellas.
Thanks.
There must be some record if we can send them.
So, other than that he was French and made a remark about Tahiti that you found strange, what was so suspicious about him?
Well, nothing, I suppose.
You got a phone we can use to call our families?
Yes, of course. You can use that office over there, Detective Bachelor's. Should be private enough.
So, was there a list of people who were at the party?
No. Greenpeace is publicly funded, so anyone can come on the boat.
Let me get this straight. You keep us down here for hours, treat us like suspects. Do you think we did this? You think I'd sink my own boat, kill my own crew member? It's all a big publicity stunt?
I have to examine every possibility.
Well, how about the French? We were bombed on the eve of going to Mururoa. Isn't it quite obvious?
You're jumping to conclusions, Mr. Wilcox. Now, from what I've seen, you've made a lot of enemies. Half the bloody civilized world.
No, we have very specific enemies. They're the ones that build weapons of mass destruction. They're the big boys. Make no mistake about it. This is pointless. No one's going to do anything about this. That's the reality, isn't it? You're not going to do anything about this, are you?
We are going to do our job, Mr. Wilcox. Come in! That's pretty much it for today. Do you people have somewhere to stay?
Yes, I think we do.
Then I suggest you get some rest.
I'd like to rest, Superintendent. But I have to send a friend back to his family. In a coffin.
Greenpeace operates on a principle they call non-violent direct action. In practice, that means they're willing to break a few laws. They tried to stop the British from dumping toxic waste. Got charged with reckless endangerment on this one. They've been arrested in Peru and Spain for defying maritime limits, and in Japan for trying to stop the slaughter of dolphins caught in fishing nets. They've antagonized Norwegian and Icelandic whaling fleets all over the North Atlantic. They've sent protest flotillas to Mururoa, the French test site, almost every year since the early 70s. The worst episode came in '73. That's David McTaggart, the founder of Greenpeace.
I read about this. He was beaten to a pulp by French commandos. Almost lost that eye.
They've been at odds with every major power over nuclear testing, especially the French in the South Pacific.
I think you and your team should remain in New Zealand until we are certain the Greenpeace protest has been cancelled.
Okay. Uncle Emile says we stay.
I just wanted to voice my support for your investigation.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Any notion who could have done this or why?
Well, it's wide open at the moment. It could be terrorists. It could be a lone fanatic.
We're exploring every possible lead. Keep me informed. And know that you have the resources of the entire government at your disposal. Alan. It's very important that we get to the bottom of this quickly.
Yes, sir.
What did he say?
Good luck.
You're going to need more than that.
Why? Yeah, okay, thanks. Sir, they've just released Riverol in Tahiti. No evidence of his involvement.
Well, we can't arrest someone for his accent, lads. Where's that blasted camper van?
Well, we've had scattered sightings all over the North Island. Not all of them are confirmed yet, but it looks like these people are putting on a fair bit of mileage.
Well, it doesn't prove anything, does it? I mean, they could be tourists.
Not your usual tourist spots, are they?
Well, my question is, if they really are connected to the bombing, why haven't they fled the country?
Sir, they've found something. Scuba tank. Washed up at Hobson Bay, 7 kilometres from Marsden Wharf. And there's something else. Made in France.
That's too bloody obvious. Was the Frenchman on board the night of the bombing and now this?
It's like someone's trying to frame them.
When the Earth is sick and all the animals are disappearing, the warriors of the rainbow will join together to protect the wild creatures and to heal the Earth. He loved that legend. He had me write it down for him.
Fernando, you were like a rainbow, from what everyone tells me. Sorry I didn't get to know you better.
Fernando, I'm going to miss your bad jokes, man.
Remember those Lambada lessons? Thanks, mate.
Fernando, you had a way of turning everything into a smile. And I know you wouldn't want us to be sad, but it's pretty hard. We miss you. Who's that?
Police. I saw him at the station.
Peter. Peter, there's something you ought to know. About 3 or 4 months ago, a woman showed up at the office. She had a letter of recommendation from the School of the Sea. She was very eager to work for us.
So, a lot of people volunteer for Greenpeace like us.
This woman was different. We didn't think anything about it at the time, but after this. Her name was Frédérique Bonlieu.
French?
She would often work late at the office, by herself.
And she had access to the files, the planning documents?
Everyone did, Peter. We've got no secrets. Why would we be on the lookout for a spy?
This girl, Fernando's friend, Andrea, did you know her pretty well?
Yeah. But she won't tell you anything, not now.
Why not?
Well, she and Frédérique were close friends. She's very protective of her.
Well, let's talk about Andrea. What do you know about her?
The yacht was named the Uveya. It was rented 3 weeks ago on Noumea Island by this Dr. Lagrange fellow.
Oh, quite a talker he was. Charming.
They came down the coast to Whangarei, where it went through customs. Lagrange and his men did quite a lot of partying. Apparently they cut a swathe through Kiwi womanhood.
Yeah, but for a yacht that was supposed to be on a fishing holiday, they didn't seem like they'd done much fishing. I don't know. Maybe it's the way they carried themselves. But I came away thinking they were military chaps.
And, Chief, everyone on board was carrying a French passport.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's your turn.
How was the van?
It was good. Thanks.
This won't take a minute if you'd like to take a seat.
long does it take to get a refund?
The manager should be here at any moment. How was your holiday?
Fantastic.
Awful.
Monsieur Turon?
Yes?
Detective Batchelor, Auckland Police. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to come with me to the station. Answer some questions.
But we have a flight to catch.
Qu'est-ce qu'il veut avec nous, hein? On va louper l'avion.
Ça suffit, sauf.
You don't understand. My mother is very sick. We must leave immediately.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience. It's not going to take very long.
And what if we refuse to go with you?
Now, why would you want to do that, sir? You've nothing to hide, have you?
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. My name is Superintendent Galbraith. We have a short statement as of 1000 hours. We are questioning two people in relation to the Rainbow Warrior inquiry. Their names are Alain and Sophie Tourange. According to their passports, they are Swiss nationals. Interpol is checking them out, and we are sending our own detectives to Switzerland to follow up.
Do you have any other leads?
Well, I'm not at liberty to discuss them now, but let me assure you that we have over 100 detectives working on this case. They're working around the clock, and we are leaving no stone unturned.
Do you believe there's a relationship between the New Zealand government's anti-nuclear policy and the fact that the bombing took place here?
I think you should ask the Prime Minister that. I'm a policeman, not a politician.
Are you ready for another one?
Yes. Maybe.
Hello.
It's me. We have a problem.
Should we come back to Auckland?
Yes, come now. We'll talk when you get here.
Don't move. Closer.
Why do you think we wish to speak with you?
About the ship in the harbor that blew up?
Which ship?
Greenpeace?
You've seen the ship?
Yes, on TV.
Tell me, what's your opinion regarding nuclear power and weapons?
I don't agree with it, but I don't have any strong feelings. I certainly wouldn't go in the street about it.
Fair enough. Now, where and when did you see this man you say you helped?
He was down by the rocks in his boat.
What did he say?
He asked me to help him out of the water with it.
So you helped him with his boat, this man?
He said his name was George. His car was nearby. I offered to give him a lift.
You offered? A total stranger? You and a foreign lamb? That was very good of you.
Yes.
Where did he sit?
In the back.
You had just had an argument with your wife, which made you leave the van, and you offered a complete stranger a lift to his car, not knowing where you are or who you're talking to.
Yes.
I'm not satisfied with that answer.
And what do you want me to say?
How about the truth?
Peter,
Andrea, have a minute?
come in.
Thanks. So I'm just making the rounds one last time, seeing if anybody,
Milk?
yes, remembers anything else, anything new that might help with the investigation.
I told the police everything I know. Seems that they're on the right track, though. Caught the Swiss couple.
They aren't sure those people are who they say they are. From what I hear, there's a lot of new evidence. pointing to the French.
This is about Frederic, isn't it?
Leslie says you haven't been around the office.
With all those eyes staring holes in me, why should I go in? They were my friends.
They still are. I'd like to think we could be friends, too.
Then don't ask me about Frederic.
She must have hurt you pretty badly.
She was the best friend I ever had. She wasn't involved in this bombing plot. I know her. She could never be that brutal and deceitful.
Why is everyone so suspicious of her, then?
Because they're all like you, Peter. They despise the French. She was just a convenient scapegoat.
I have nothing against the French people. Look, maybe you're right. Maybe Frederic had nothing to do with this.
She took all these. Almost every weekend we'd go driving up north around the island. We'd take wine and cheese. Sometimes we'd camp out. She'd take photographs of the coastline. She loved barren, isolated places.
Nice photographs.
We'd spend hours talking about everything. She told wonderful stories. She'd been all over the world.
Did she ask you a lot of questions?
Yes. About me. She wanted to know everything.
And then she left, and you haven't heard a word. Isn't that right, Andrea? Could it have been an act? Could she have been using you, picking your brain about the organization and the protest?
No.
I think she lied to you, Andrea. Don't let this woman drive a wedge between you and your friends, between you and what you believe. She's not worth it.
God, how would you know? I don't feel guilty, all right?
Well, I do. That's my boat out there in the harbor, blown to pieces. And Fernando was dead. The first rule for any captain is to protect his crew, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I wasn't careful. I'm not here to accuse you of anything, Andrea. I don't know whether Frederic deceived you or not. All I know is I can't sleep at night, and I won't be able to until I find out what really happened to my ship and my friend. Thanks for the tea.
Over by the phone. A number she used to call. She was very mysterious about it. She tried to prevent me from seeing it. I thought...
I'll have to give this to the police.
I want you to.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. Are my questions upsetting you?
No. It's just my mother. She's very sick. Maybe she will die soon.
Was she sick before you left on your honeymoon?
Oh, she was very sick.
It's a strange time for a trip, don't you think?
It was very difficult. I did not want to leave her. But I am married.
Well, one funny thing. The man says this guy George was in the back of the camper van. The woman says up front. How can you forget a thing like that in 48 hours?
Well, I think they're lying. Come in.
Constable Adam Kelly, reporting for duty, sir.
How long have you been in the force, Adam?
I graduated from police college 3 weeks ago.
I'm told you're good at French.
Yes, sir. My mother is French. We speak it at home.
That's good, because I have an important assignment for you.
I'm ready for anything, sir.
I want you to read the newspaper.
Sir?
On a encore 2 heures avant que l'avion parte. On va pas le rater.
Oui, exactement.
Certainly an odd pair for newlyweds.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. There's never any kissing or hand-holding. No sweetie pies or honey buns.
En tout cas, tu as compris?
Et toi, qu'est-ce que tu penses?
Je sais pas.
Huh?
They've only mentioned the bombing once. She said it was a pity that someone had to die, and he said that's the way it had to be.
Sir, the Tapuni forestry workers here.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
You all right? Take a good look. I want you to tell me if these are the same people you saw in the camper van.
Yeah, they look right, but I can't say for sure they were gone in a flash.
Yeah, we never got a good look at them. Well, what about the station wagon? Was there any equipment in the back?
Oh, yeah, they had an outboard and a couple of big blue bags.
The kind of bags you could use to transport an inflatable dinghy.
What about the wagon itself?
Positively identified. The passenger was Lagrange.
Sure about that?
Yep. And the driver matches Heck Crane's description of a member of the Avaya crew.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Where's the van now?
Scheduled to dock at Norfolk Island within the hour.
Call the Air Force. We need a plane to go to Norfolk. And call the Aussies. Tell them we'd appreciate them detaining the Overe until our people have given her a good look over.
Au revoir.
You can't see him. I'm
Why
sorry.
don't you just get on the telephone?
No, look, I
and
spoke to him about 10 minutes ago. He's in a meeting. He
That's
doesn't
not
want...
good enough. I didn't.
No, look. Excuse me.
Excuse me, Superintendent. May I speak with you? It's important.
In my office.
Thank you.
Sit down, please.
Do you know about Frédérique Bonlieu? French woman? Did volunteer work in the local Greenpeace office a couple of months ago.
Spell her name, we'll check her out.
I already have. I think she was the advance scout on this whole operation. That's a number she used to call in Paris. I suggest you give it a high priority.
Mr. Wilcox, I'm grateful for your help, and I'm sure you're a very competent skipper.
Who's that?
But I'd prefer if you leave the detective work to us.
Are those the Tarangas?
Yes, I'm letting them go. I've nothing to hold them on.
How about murder?
Look, you can make blind accusations if you like, but I don't have that luxury. I have to have evidence, you understand?
Yes, of course. I understand.
Mr. Wilcox?
Yes?
Our guests are gone, but they are not forgotten.
Still outside?
Yeah. Very clever, these Swiss honeymooners.
More time. How much time do they need to check passports, for God's sake?
Maybe the delay has to do with Interpol headquarters being in Paris.
Keep calling. Keep calling till we get an answer, all right?
It's a phone. It's our Uncle Neil again in France. You've got trouble.
Just don't let him out of your sight. Sir, I've just checked out of the motel.
No one might got these people aren't who they say they are. We've got to have proof.
Before they're out of reach.
I have 2 oil passes. I want to change them for the next available flight to Paris. Please.
We're in a great hurry. How long will this take?
Oh, that will take at least half an hour.
No, I'm sorry. We can't wait that long. Please. 2 tickets. Right now. Straight away. For today, please.
Continental Airlines Flight 2, service to Los Angeles with continuing service to Newark and Paris, now boarding at gate 16. Continental Airlines non-stop service to Honolulu is now boarding at gate 12.
Boarding passes. Passports.
These passports are forged. You're under arrest.
Let's go.
This is the last boarding call for Flight 19 to Cook Island, now boarding at gate 20.
Holidays we are. We missed Lagrange. Right after they landed, he hopped the plane.
Destination?
Paris, via Sydney.
Now listen, Bert, I want you to search that boat from top to bottom. We must have tangible evidence linking the crew to the bombing and the Touranges to the crew. You understand?
Now, they're playing dumb.
How long?
The Aussies say we can't hold these fellas more than 24 hours without formal charges.
Then get to work, man.
Manu. Try the really wet bit in the corner. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Murray?
Sir.
Had a word to the Prime Minister. He's put in a formal request to all the West intelligence services to help trace the identity of these people.
Right.
Superintendent, it's Laurie. She'd like a word.
Galbraith?
I'm in a room at the Hyatt. On the day of the bombing, it was registered to André Florian.
French, eh?
Yes, sir, French. It has a very interesting view of the harbour.
Okay. You made 5 phone calls from your motel room to France, yeah?
Yes, to my Uncle Emile in Paris.
Why?
I thought he could help us.
Who is Uncle Emile?
He is my uncle.
Sophie, do you work for your government?
I'm sorry. I cannot help you.
Tell me, what would happen in your country if the police caught somebody spying for the government of another country?
There would be big trouble.
Who for?
For the one who is caught.
What do you think?
Well, she's weakening. I think she wants to talk.
Good. Make her an offer. If she tells the truth, we let her go. All right? We're running out of time. A solicitor could be here soon.
He's tough, this guy.
Keep pushing.
She's a real beauty. Thanks, mate. You a sailor?
Skipper. Without a boat for the moment, but always looking.
Know what you mean.
Ever rent her out? I need a boat to take me up to Mororoa.
Yeah, well, like I said, not my thing.
Question, my friend. What's the real reason you won't rent to me?
Like I said, it's just not the kind of thing I want to do with my boat.
It wouldn't have anything to do with the police, would it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Galbraith put the word out, didn't he? You can't stop me! You can't stop me!
Je sais que tu as dit quelque chose. Je le sache. Et qu'est-ce que tu as dit? Tu es bête ou quoi?
Laisse-moi
Tu
tranquille,
es bête!
laisse-moi
Tu
souffrir!
penses si
J'ai
tu
rien
vas parler,
dit,
va
non.
te laisser quitter le pays, hein?
Merci.
I want to speak with you.
Go ahead.
Alone.
Okay, my office. Sit down. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I don't want false promises made to my wife. Promises you do not intend to keep.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean that your man told my wife that if she was to answer questions, she will be free to return to France. Do not make promises you do not mean.
Monsieur, if I have sympathy for anybody, it's for the little children who no longer have a father because you killed him. I don't care that much for the woman you call your wife.
It'll take some time before forensics can run what you've collected through their lab. Where's the Avare and her crew now?
The Aussies released them.
Well, it's their territory. We'll have to catch up with them in Numir.
Well, that's a French island. I'm not sure they'll help us.
We'll have to put it to the test, won't we?
This is highly irregular. You can't detain people for days without cause.
We didn't detain them. They agreed to be interviewed. And now we have cause. They're traveling under false passports.
I'm sure it's all a misunderstanding.
Can you prove that? Then we'll continue to hold them.
And I promise you my clients will not be answering any more of your questions, Superintendent.
Who engaged your services, Mr. Carey?
You know that's confidential.
I don't know anyone in New Zealand. Must be someone from a foreign country.
I shall have these people out on bail tomorrow.
What's happening to yours?
Well, when was the last radio transmission?
11:10 last night. The Uvaea was right here, 60 kilometers southwest of Noumea.
I should have made land hours ago. Maury, try and find out if there's any other shipping in the area. And could you liaise with your department, call in a military aircraft?
International should send us a boat. That's what they should do. If we're all willing to fight for it, they're going to give in.
There are some spots open on the local yachts, and a couple of crew open on the Vega, radio operator and deckhand.
We don't have to crew on other boats. If I can just get a little support here.
Peter, what do you think you're trying to do?
Trying to keep us together.
I don't know about anybody else, but maybe I stay on dry land for a while. I don't mind admitting I feel afraid.
We can't blame Fritz. What's to stop them from blowing up another boat?
Nothing yet?
So how many?
Well, if we count the Greenpeace volunteer, Frederic Bonlieu, River Older party crasher,
Florian at the Hyatt?
Lagrange and the Uvaea crew, and our friends Alain and Sophie, that's 9 of them.
And counting?
Beats me why they need a bloody battalion to take on an unarmed trawler.
We can't let them intimidate us. You realize the statement we're making if we give up now?
You're becoming obsessive about this.
I'm not obsessive, I'm committed.
Don't talk to me about commitment, mate. This protest voyage will go on with or without you. Don't be so bloody arrogant. Maybe crewing on someone else's boat's just what you need right now.
Hey, Eddie, don't do this.
I got work to do. I haven't got time to listen to this American hero talk.
Well, it appears the Uvaea has disappeared off the face of the earth.
Damn it! Frogs must have scuttled the boat.
What about the crew?
Okay, thanks. No other maritime shipping anywhere in the area.
The Ruby sailed out of Noumea 2 days ago on routine maneuvers.
The Ruby?
Class AA nuclear submarine.
And she's French. Would I be correct in assuming that a nuclear submarine wouldn't intercede without direct orders from government?
Mm-hmm.
We've got a big fish on the line here, team. A very big fish.
You sure? Okay. Thanks.
Mr. Ambassador, what do you say to the rumors that the French government is involved in the Rainbow Warrior bombing?
In no way was France involved.
Finally traced the phone number.
The French government does not deal with its opponents in such ways.
Now, this is curious. Our Sophie Tourange and Frederic Bonlieu both seem to have the same Uncle Emile. Now, Uncle Emile works for the DGSE.
What's that?
The French Secret Service.
Yes. Yes, sir. The Prime Minister will see you now.
The most brazen, contemptible thing I've ever heard of. It's nothing short of an act of war. Could it be some rogue elements in the French military or intelligence service?
Well, that's possible. It's also possible they still have operatives in the country.
Are you telling me they're capable of further actions?
We can't rule it out.
I'm deeply concerned, Alan. This is the largest investigation in the history of New Zealand. We've got detectives all over the place, and so far we haven't got a bloody thing to show for it.
Well, we have the Touranges.
We both know we can't hold the Touranges on passport charges forever.
Sir, I think you have to recognize what we're up against.
I do. But we can't just roll over and play dead.
Well, I have no intention of doing that, but everywhere I turn, I run into brick walls. I'm receiving no cooperation from the CIA, none from the British Secret Service. We can't just take on the world by ourselves.
I have reason to believe that some of our allies had prior knowledge of the movements of these French agents and chose not to warn us. Our anti-nuclear policies aren't very popular overseas. It could be that someone was sending a message to New Zealand on the night of the bombing, not just to Greenpeace. Well, there won't be any help on this one. We have to go it alone.
I'd like to send a team of detectives to Paris to show the French just how serious we are about solving this crime.
Good. I'll notify our embassy to expect them. And I'll have the Foreign Ministry remind the French that they are required to cooperate. We may not be able to go to war with an ally, but we can fight back with the truth. Find the truth, Alan.
Looking for me, Superintendent? I'm right here.
No, I'm just out for a stroll.
Well, I don't seem to be able to go anywhere without one of you guys following me.
We're not following you.
Somebody is.
Mr. Wilcox, you haven't been under surveillance since we caught the Touranges.
Oh, is that right? Well, maybe I'm just paranoid.
I would have thought that'd be par for the course for your line of work. Anyway, what brings you out at this time of the night?
Couldn't sleep. There's a lot on my mind.
Marara, I presume.
I'd like to see the Rainbow Warrior repaired, but there's not enough money around. Anyway, I'm thinking of taking a crew position on one of the boats.
You know, if they're prepared to sabotage the Rainbow Warrior here in a friendly port, there's no telling what they'd be willing to do off Murara, 2,000 miles from anywhere.
So it was the French?
Well, that's what it looks like, yeah.
I can't let them think they scared us off.
I have to tell you, I admire your conviction, I do. But I don't agree with your tactics.
We practice nonviolent civil disobedience. We bear witness. These people that I sail with are the greatest people. We should respect these people.
No, you missed my point, you see. There are ways of changing society from within. Legal, democratic ways. If you don't like a government's nuclear policies, throw the buggers out. Anyway, who's to say that your cause is more right than someone else's? And if everyone who believes in a cause, like yourself, starts breaking the law, we disintegrate into chaos.
What if the law is immoral? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever broken a law?
Well, other than the odd U-turn occasionally.
Have you ever stretched the law?
Well, certainly, if there was no other way to resolve a situation, I have.
Well, Superintendent, I suggest to you that this is one of those occasions.
Safe journey, Mr. Wilcox.
Thank you.
Bag still packed, Bert?
Yes, sir. Why, where am I off to now?
The most beautiful city in the world.
Hmm?
I'm sending you, Kelly, and Lutz to Paris. They leave in the morning.
Oh. A bit out of our jurisdiction, though, isn't it, sir?
No, I don't think so. Bert, think about a new suit while you're there.
Hey, look, it's Peter!
With all the media coverage of the bombing and investigation, I think it's easy to forget what the real issues are here and why, for me, it's so important that we go on to Mororoa. My friend James was born on Rongelap and witnessed firsthand the effects of the United States' first hydrogen bomb test on his people and his home island. James, like many of his fellow Rongelapese, is suffering from a rare form of cancer caused by chromosome breakage.
I was 8 years old on the 1st of March, 1954. I remember I was playing with my dog in the backyard. when suddenly there was an orange flash of light, so bright it burned our eyes. A few seconds later, the heat came. Waves of heat burning our skin. Then the hot wind started. White ash fell. We thought it was snow. We'd never seen snow before. We played in it. The next day, everyone in the village broke out into horrible rashes. But the worst part came later. Our women, they had miscarriages and deformed births, and the little ones born. We call them jellyfish babies, without faces, without bones.
Come in.
Sir, the Toranges are leaving their lawyer's office. What should we do?
Arrest them.
On what charge?
Not arrest them for bringing illegally obtained passports into the country.
Isn't that really stretching the law?
Just do it, Murray. It's just one of those occasions.
Need a hand?
We just wanted to see you off.
Just to show support.
I don't easily come to these social occasions.
What have you got for me?
These things were removed from the Uveas galley area. Alain and Sophie Tourange's prints are all over them.
We got it.
This street map of Auckland is covered with Frederic Bonlou's prints.
It's even better.
That's not all. That's Bonlou's handwriting in the corner.
Anything on the explosives?
Yes, sir. It's probably from a detonator cord. The same explosive used on the Rainbow Warrior. It was taken from a swab of the Uveas bilges.
That's it. Got him.
Well done.
This is the BBC World Service. At 0930 hours this morning, in the presence of their legal counsel, Alain and Sophie Tourange were formally charged with conspiracy to commit arson, willfully damaging the vessel Rainbow Warrior by means of explosives, and with the murder of Fernando Pereira.
Good for Galbraith. Good for him.
Well, I was saving this for after the action, but what the hell?
Those guys are just the foot soldiers. The real bastards are at the top, untouchable.
Still, you have to hand it to the police. I never thought they'd take it this far. Let's have a toast. To Fernando. Maybe he can rest a little easier tonight.
Wait.
It's me. I have bad news. The Tourange have been arrested. They're pressing charges this time.
Where are they now?
The police station. They're about to be transferred to the prison.
Get into position. We may not have a better chance.
To do such a job, we would need an army.
We have badly underestimated the New Zealand police. We must leave them to their fate.
Major Mafar. News from home. Your so-called wife is actually Dominique Prieur, an agent in the French Secret Service. Like you, Major. Yes, it was French journalists who discovered who you really are. Your own countrymen demanding that your government tell the truth. Interesting, don't you think?
All this security for us, huh? If this was a third world country, maybe, but not here. New Zealand is a friendly nation.
I wouldn't call it friendly, detonating bombs against the hull of a boat full of people.
As to that, I cannot say. But I can say this. If things had gone according to plan, you would not know that I exist. We would not be having this conversation. You were lucky, Superintendent.
It's that arrogance that got you caught, Major. The same arrogance your government displays, continuing to test nuclear weapons when all the nations of the South Pacific are against it.
In France, we live next door to some powerful enemies. We have a right to defend ourselves. We have a right to test our weapons, just as other major powers do. My government feels very strongly about this.
Strong enough to commit murder?
Perhaps the death was accidental.
I find that hard to believe. By sheer luck that most of the crew was above deck, 12 people could have been killed.
In my country, we have a phrase, raison d'état, for reasons of state. Sometimes, in order to protect its vital interests, a country must do what is necessary.
Well, we have a phrase in my country too, Major. Your goose is cooked. And what you have done cannot be justified. You committed an act of terrorism, you killed an innocent man, you betrayed the trust of an ally. Now, I think you and your fellow conspirators are cowards. And I also think that you should learn to enjoy your surroundings, Major. The penalty for murder in New Zealand is life imprisonment.
Hey. Mororo. Peter! Up here.
What do we got?
Mororo. The Maoris have always called it the place of great secrets. How right they were.
How long have we been at this bloody triplicate paperwork?
Close to 4 hours.
What the hell's this? Look, tell your boss, all we want to do is interview one suspect.
Go ahead, Bo.
Well, our sources tell us the commission appointed by Mitterrand to do the internal investigation will completely exonerate the French government.
That's absurd.
It'll be a total whitewash.
Bloody outrageous is what it is.
Gunboat.
Yeah, and the Ulvair crew turned themselves in at a Paris police station. But by the time we got there, they'd already been released.
Released where?
Well, I wouldn't say. Mind you, we did see pictures of them on the television. They were smiling.
Shall I recall Bert White and the boys from Paris, sir? They're in an impossible situation.
No, absolutely not. You know, Maury, this may be a small country, but it angers me when I get the feeling that someone's trying to push us around, you know? Someone bigger and stronger than us, basically a bully. This may be a flaw of mine, but I have a tendency to take these things a little personally, and I'm damned if I'll let these bastards get away with it. How many French journalists do we have in the country covering this story?
2 or 3.
I want to commend you journalists who've helped us uncover some of the facts in this case. You at least seem to understand that a great wrong was committed here.
But how much cooperation have you received from the French government?
As little as they can manage.
Some politicians in Paris have expressed resentment at the presence of your detectives on French soil. What is your response?
My response is we're not going away until we know the truth. I'm told that your government believes in the rights of the state. And if I remember my history, your country also believes in something more important. The rights of man.
Gentlemen, I just got this from International. The French Prime Minister, Laurent Fabius, has admitted that French agents acted under orders and sunk the Rainbow Warrior. The Minister of Defense, Charles Hernoux, and the head of the intelligence service, Admiral Pierre Lacoste, have both resigned. International are leaving it up to us whether we want to go forward or pull back. The communique said nothing about the testing. Until they tell us they're going to stop, we've got to cross the line. It's the only way we'll know we've accomplished what we set out to do.
Well, we've got the bastards on the run. Now's no time to quit.
I say, let's go for it. Let's cross the 12-mile limit. Let's go for it. I'll inform International of our decision.
Make sure they let the press know.
Satellite says we're in French waters, Skipper.
Life jackets, Janie.
Port 11 o'clock. We got company.
Get on the radio, Peter. Let someone know.
Right. calling the BBC World Service. Can you read? Over. The Greenpeace ship Vega calling the BBC World Service. Can you read? Over. CNN, Reuters. Anyone, can you read me? Over.
Steady, Bruce.
This is the Vega. We're being guarded by French commandos. Anybody, can you read? Over.
Hello, Greenpeace.
Who is this?
We are French press. We have you inside.
Are you in a boat?
No, in an helicopter. We'll be there in a minute.
Nuclear testing policies. We have no weapons. We come in peace.
Your hands.
Attention les gars, c'est la presse.
Greenpeace, we are watching.
Allons-y.
Vous n'avez pas des photos au salon, hein?
Salon, keep moving.
Allez-y. Don't be stupid. Get in the boat. Allez. Go.
This was a deliberate, planned operation of a terrorist nature. The sentence imposed must give a clear warning to such as the defendants and their masters that terrorist-type activities will be met with a stern reaction and a severe punishment. People who come to this country to commit terrorist activities cannot expect a short holiday at the expense of our government and then return home as heroes. The sentence of the court is that on the charge of manslaughter, you are each sentenced to a term of 10 years imprisonment.
There he is now.
Why were the murder charges reduced, Superintendent?
Well, we didn't have any hard evidence linking Mafan Prieur to the act of bombing, so we decided to press charges that we knew that we could prove.
Wouldn't you call that a cop-out? Isn't this really a failure?
On the contrary. I think there's a great deal to be proud of in all of this, for all of us. The French thought that they could take the New Zealand police for granted, and they imagined that they could intimidate Greenpeace. Well, they were wrong on both counts. Greenpeace went on to Mururoa, and we caught 2 of their top spies. Nearly brought down a government. I think that's something to be proud of.
Were you happy with the verdict?
So how long did they detain you?
Just 3 days. The French Prime Minister was flying in for the test, so they had to get us out of there. I've been banned from French Polynesia forever. At least I tried.
You know, I wanted to tell you that you were right. You were right about Frederick Bonlier. She was the advance scout. She was the one that found the deserted beach up north where the Ovea crew landed the explosives and the inflatable, which they later transferred to the Taranches at Te Puni Forest.
So the guys on the Ovea were the saboteurs?
Well, we thought so at first, but now we're pretty sure they were the backup.
You mean that there was a 3rd team of agents?
Louis Deschamps and Pierre Duval. They were the real bombers. And while the Ovea boys were being conspicuous, these fellas were keeping a very low profile.
Quite a scenario.
You know, for a time they were staying here in Auckland at the Hyatt with a man that called himself Florian. Now, Interpol thinks that his real name is Monsard. Monsard is the head of the action wing of the DGSE.
It's unbelievable.
Well, we have warrants out on them all. If they take a step outside of France, we will be waiting for them.
Gone, but not forgotten. I remember you said that.
No, we will never forget.
We finally decided what to do with the Rainbow Warrior. We've patched her up so she can be towed. And the Maori have offered to turn the ship into an underwater memorial up in Matauri Bay. It's a beautiful setting. They believe it's where the spirits of their ancestors live. We're going to have a commemorative ceremony, and the crew asked me if I would extend an invitation. We'd like you to be there.
Well, thank you. I would be honored.
It'll mean a lot to us.